Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. A couple of announcements. This is soap opera related. So the guy who plays Brad is going to be coming back to GH. So for anyone who is a Brad fan, then this is good news. I personally cannot stand him. I absolutely cannot stand him. Not just because of the crap that he did, as far as the whole baby switch and everything like that. That's whatever. A lot of people have done, really crappy stuff. My thing that I cannot get past is when he tried to blackmail Michael into having sex with him, because Michael and Kiki was a thing, and at the time I guess they were related or they weren't related. I'm not too sure what it was. But the fact that he was so much of a sleazebag that he was like, listen, if we don't have sex or whatever, I'll sit there and tell the world that you're hooking up with your cousin. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's, I don't really remember the whole thing. I don't know if they actually were cousins or not, and that's just some, nastiness in itself, if that's the case. But, with that being said, I can't stand him. I really can't. And, it is what it is, but I just feel, I felt I should sit there and talk about it. Also, Ted King, the guy who played Lorenzo, Louise, the Alcazar guy. Well, he's gonna be Finn on, Bold and the Beautiful. So, if you're a fan of that show, and you're a fan of Ted King, that's pretty cool. Personally, that kind of sucked because I really want him back as Alcazar, one of the twins. I don't care which one. I love both of them. I want him to come back. So, now let's get into this episode because, let's talk about Liz for a minute. So Liz passed by Carly, or she walks up to Carly, they're at the gravesite or whatever. And, she apologized to Carly for her blaming Jason for killing Franco. And, I'm gonna be honest, I just did not give a damn. I really didn't. I really did not care. Even when she was like, she partly knew, but she was just so angry. And then she says something along the lines of, well, I'm angry. Why is this always jumping? She said something along the lines, I was angry because he didn't feel how I wanted him to feel or something. I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. Because you decide to act like a... the point was... I'm trying to sit there and think of a nice way to sit there and say it, and I really can't. But the point is, I was like, sweetheart, I don't care. I really do not care. And then there was one point where she literally irked the living life out of me. Where I felt like she was asking for some sort of sympathy. She was like, Cameron and Jake's relationship, isn't the same. And it's because of me and how I took things with Jason. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm sorry, sweetheart, is it? You want sympathy? Oh, that's good. This chick wants... By your dumbass actions, you literally caused damage between your two sons' relationship. And what, you wanted Carly to sit there and say, oh, poor baby or something like... Well, you did that to yourself, okay? That is your mess. Seriously, how dare you sit there and try to... What Carly's supposed to give you some sort of sympathy to, absolve your guilt or something? Get the hell out of here. No, that just... that really irked the living life out of me. And of course, Carly, she was like, I understand, I make mistakes and blah, 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 and... then they talk and they bonded and stuff like that. And, I was just like, I don't really give a damn. You screwed up, okay? You screwed up. And I know a lot of people in this show have screwed up. Okay? And I'm not going to sit there and lie and act like I'm not sitting there cherry picking about what stuff I'm willing to forgive and other stuff I'm just like, you can kick rocks. Okay? Because hell, even my favorite characters has screwed up royally. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about Liz, and Liz screwed up, and that's your mess, and boo-hoo, because to be honest, I don't really give a damn. Really don't. And I'm sitting there thinking, and it's not gonna sit there. That's not the right word. I'm sitting there thinking about like forgiveness and stuff like that, and how, as fans, there are certain things that people can forgive. There's other things that people can't forgive. You know, I look at Brad's situation and pretty much how he was trying to blackmail Michael into having sex with him, and I was just like, bro, I can't do it. You can kick rocks. But then I sit there and I look at some of the other stuff and the other characters. You look at Franco. And there's a lot of people that like Franco, and there's some people that just, they can't get over what he did to Michael. And yeah, we could sit there and say it's the brain tumor and yada 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 yada, and that's very well true. But at the end of the day, regardless of brain tumor or not, his actions cause something to happen to Michael. You know? And you even go so far back as, you know, if anyone watched One Life to Live, Todd. Now, everyone loved Todd. I'm kind of looking back at it and I'm like, I want to sit there and say I love Todd and he was my favorite character, but at the same time he did something that was unforgivable. As far as the whole Taya thing. I'm talking about the RAP, yeah. And I sit there and I look and I'm just like, well, how were fans able to get past that? You know? Even Luke. You know, Luke and Laura, the greatest love story in the history of ever. And we all know how Lulu was brought into this world. And yet, for some odd reason, it's almost as though people either don't remember or just act like that just didn't happen. And it did. It happened. And, you know, I wrote a comment, because I was going on a GH site or whatever, on Instagram. And we were talking about, oh, he's my favorite couple and yada yada yada. I loved him. And I was like, really? After what he did? Really? And she was like, yeah, but yada 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 yada. And I'm just like, you know what? What's about to come out of my mouth? I'm just not even going to sit there and write. You know, hell, I even sit there and look at the character Charlie Dale from Days. And there is no redemption in the world that could erase what he did. And I don't even understand how a person can actually play a character like that. I feel like some people probably was so mad at that storyline and just that whole thing that they may just even be mad at the actor. I don't even think the actor can come back. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Oh yeah, I'm talking about forgiveness or whatever, like holding grudges. But yeah, she did her old sympathy plead and yada yada yada, and I didn't care. And then at the end, she was at the gravesite and she cried, and you know, I don't know. I was kind of torn because at one point I was like, you know, I do have sympathy for that. You know, regardless of how I feel about Liz and just the craptastic thing that she did, I do have sympathy for that. But I also felt like it might have been, I guess there was a purpose behind it. I don't know what it is. There was a purpose behind that scene, and I guess we'll get to it at some point. Now let's talk about Alexis and Sean. And the reason why I want to sit there and talk about Alexis and Sean is because for some people, you know, they don't like to sit there and talk about politics and race and stuff like that. But unfortunately, well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it because Alexis was sitting there looking over the cases of Carson, or Carson, the judge that prosecuted, the judge over Alexis and Sean. They were looking through the cases, and well, long story short, she's a racist. Okay, there is just no other way to sit there and put it. That's literally what she is. She give harsher sentences to people of color as opposed to people who are Caucasian. That's just, it is what it is. And the reason why I'm sitting there saying that is because I remember Brock TV not that long ago got a lot of flack for daring to talk about politics on this review. They didn't like it. They were like, oh, we're going to sit there and unsubscribe and yada, yada, yada. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I think me and Brock TV can both agree that they can kick rocks. But the thing is, I generally do try to leave politics out of my soap operas reviews. Now, other stuff, I may sit there and weigh on whatever, yada, yada, yada. But in my soap opera reviews, I try to keep politics and stuff like that out of it unless it pertains to the particular episode. And, well, it will. And moving forward with the whole Carson and Sean and stuff like that, well, it's going to be discussion. It's going to be discussions from me. It's going to be discussions from Brock TV. And it may even be discussion from DC, because he also does reviews on GH as well. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. And if you don't really want to sit there and hear about that stuff, I understand. But, one, it pertains to the show. And, I'm not going to sit there and not talk about it because it makes some people feel uncomfortable. Because that's, well, I already explained why. But yeah, so they're looking into that angle, and Alexa's like, we gotta make a choice, because Sean's like, listen, Diane can get me out, but what about all these other cases? And I think it's gonna be a choice between getting Sean out or trying to get everyone out. I'm not really too sure how that's gonna work, but that's the angle that they're gonna be trying to work with. Now, on the other side of town, we got Molly and we got TJ, and to be honest, first few minutes of it, I pretty much just looking at my phone because it was just boring as hell. I mean, they just talked about their anniversary, their non-traditional wedding, but yet they still have traditional values. Like, okay, it's a non-wedding, or it's a, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. Partnership, what was that? Domestic partners, really? So she was meant to talk about that and their anniversary and stuff. Now, you got Brando and you got Sasha out there, and they go inside, I guess, to go get some food or whatever, or they go inside for some reason. And they walk past they walk past TJ, and they walk past Molly, and it's just awkward as hell. Awkward as hell. By the way, Brando left out a tiny little detail. But they walk in there, and, Brando's like, how you doing, and stuff like that, and they're both kind of like, hi, kind of like very, like, TJ is very, like, kind of cold and whatever, and distant and stuff. And there's one point where, Brando's like, she's pregnant, and I'm going to be a dad and stuff like that. And listen, that, I have to sit there and say, and I regret that I'm not a father, but I can only imagine that is the best day of your life. It's the best day of your life, and when you sit there and share that news, you do it with the somewhat expectation that they're going to sit there and be happy for you at the very least, or congratulations or something. And he said that, and TJ was just like, and? Like, that's not what he said, but that was the energy that he was meant to giving Brando. And I'm not gonna lie, that just irritated the living life out of me, because here's the thing. You're upset with Brando for what he did with Molly, but you forgave Molly, less than a day? Less than 24 hours? After she cheated on you. And by the way, Molly even said that Brando didn't know that she was in a relationship. But you're sitting there giving so much negative energy towards him, but her, you're just Like, really? I'm not gonna lie, that, to this day, that just never sat right with me. It never did. And looking at this scene, it was like, bro, are you kidding me? You know, you're gonna sit there and try to fight a guy who was in the military that had all rights to whoop your ass. For you coming at him. One, for you just coming at him. Two, for you coming at him knowing that he didn't even know that your girl was in a relationship. Knowing that your girlfriend told him to keep his mouth shut. So, to be honest, I'm just kind of looking at TJ like, bro, you are just so... I just don't even know where to begin with you. You know? But then when they get back and they have their separate cases or whatever, their separate scenes, Brando's like, oh yeah, I was with her, and he doesn't sit there and mention the fact that Molly, was the one that cheated on her boyfriend and didn't tell Brando. Like, he just left that out. I know that he's not there trying to be a good guy and stuff like that, but it's one of those things. It's like, if you're gonna sit there and tell a story, tell the whole damn story, okay? Because the way he told the story, it made it seem like he knew, or he just, had his fun with her, knowing that, he knew that, she could have been in a relationship with somebody else or whatever. Like, he just left that out, and I felt like that was just kind of important, not to sit there and make him not look like a slime ball, but just in general. Anyway, so the racist POS of a judge walks up to Molly and it's like, hey, yeah, I presided over your mom's case or whatever. And, there's nothing being all cordial and stuff like that. Yeah, I presided over your mom's case. And I'm like, yeah, you also sent her mother to jail for 5 years. But I guess she should sit there and thank you. Like, I don't know. I feel like moving forward that Carson, whatever her name, Judge Carson, is going to be the reason why Molly and TJ is going to have the problems that they're going to have. I feel like she's going to be the catalyst in either breaking them up or doing damage to their relationship. Her working in the DA's office and, whatever. I feel like that's going to be a thing. So I guess we'll just wait and see. Let's talk about Michael, Willow, and Brooklyn. Brooklyn is like, yo, listen, so now everything's good and he's back on the mend. You need to sit there and tell him the truth. That's what Brooklyn said to Michael and Willow. Now, Michael and Willow, Willow was like, oh, there's just moving parts, and, it's just a lot of stuff to happen. I was like, I'm sorry, that almost sounds like excuses. Sweetheart, are you making excuses? Is that what you're doing? You making excuses? No. Get it done. And that's literally what Brooklyn says. Like, yo, listen, I get it, but this man is literally sitting there planning another wedding in your backyard, or our backyard. So get it done. Now Michael's like, oh, well, you sit there and tell him. It doesn't really matter how long it takes for you to sit there and tell him. Yes, it does, Michael. What the hell is your... Point is, she's ready, and she's going to do it. Now, pretty much, Jackie, Finn, and Chase was pretty much having a full house moment throughout most of this episode. Guess what winds up happening? I don't even know if I said this. I don't even remember if I even said this yesterday. But I remember me sitting there saying something along the lines of, man, if there's some sort of other illness or something else that happens that prevent Willow from telling Chase the truth, I might lose it. I might lose it. And guess what wound up happening? When Finn was, because Chase was sitting there talking about, like, numbness of his feet. And Chase and Finn did a test. He was like, alright, I'm going to sit there and perform this test to sit there and see where, what's going on with your feet. And when Chase was on his phone, Chase was like, alright, so tell me when you're starting. This man was sitting there running this cold thing down and up his feet for a hot minute. So automatically he knew that there was something wrong. And when Willow came in, Willow was like, alright, Finn, I need you to... She was about to sit there and say, I need you to clear the room. that's when Finn and Chase was like, yeah, I can't feel my legs. So, yep. Now at this point, here's the thing. At this point, I understood why they couldn't tell him the truth before. Because of the fact that, oh, he was going to die. But yes, I understood the fact that they were, they didn't want to sit there and tell him because he was going to die and they were sitting there working on a cure or something like that to keep his spirits up and everything. I supported that, okay? And I know a lot of people didn't, but I supported that because I understood where they were coming from and the fact that he was literally at death's door. So, okay, fine. You lied to the man, you married a man, do whatever you got to do. Last wishes. Okay, so this guy might be paralyzed. Tell him the damn truth already. Okay, because now at this point, this is just getting ridiculous. Okay, and we all know what's going to wind up happening. Okay, Willow's going to be like, I just didn't have the heart to sit there and do it because now he's paralyzed and we don't know when he's going to sit there. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I am so getting vibes from Days of Our Lives with this whole Kate thing. But, I'm like, all right, now this is just getting retarded. This is literally just getting stupid. And we're gonna still do this, aren't we? Yeah, we're gonna still do this. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, guess I may be hitting the wine store soon. So I guess we'll just see. Now the last thing I'm gonna sit there and talk about is the Jason and Britt scenes. Pretty much. Jason was sitting there teaching Britt how to box, and at this point, it was just pretty much all foreplay. Britt's new lease on life, her appreciation for the people she has in her life, them just vibing and having a good time and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, when Britt started punching the bag a little bit and Jason just kind of stood there, I was like, yeah, I know he's gonna sit there and correct her. I automatically knew he was gonna sit there and correct her, but it's not there boxing and stuff like that and just having a good time. And there was one point they're about to start kissing. Cock blocking Carly comes in and is like, yo, we gotta talk about the Novaks. I'm sorry, sweetheart, you couldn't have did that like 5 minutes later? You really had to do that right then and there? Like, really? So, yeah, Carly is gonna sit there and be that little speed bump, that little roadblock between whatever sort of happiness that Jason and Britt may or may not have. Now, of course, Carly's going to sit there and do this under the jest of, Britt can't sit there and, handle Jason's life. And so, she's doing it for him. She's doing it for his protection. Something that he didn't ask. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want. But, Carly, when she makes some decisions, she makes some decisions, and yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna say about that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. I saw the previews towards the next episode, and it looked like her chief of staff, Britt's chief of staff time may be up, because we see Monica back, and Britt's there saying something like, "Yo, what are you talking about? I'm not chief of staff anymore. Like, what's this about?" And I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of gonna suck a little bit. Listen, I know that she could be a real hard ass. I know she could be a hard ass. But half of the time, when she came back, she was doing it because of the fact that Cyrus was on her back. That's not to sit there and say that she's not gonna sit there and, put down her foot when it needs to be put down, but I don't know, just when she was sitting there starting to get her life and her groove and everything like that, and then now they're just going to sit there and start to slowly dismantle it. So, between that, Carly being the cock-blocking woman that she is, Britt is not going to be doing too well. But, anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. See you in the next video.